We are asking, are Kenyans safe? How can Murkomen guarantee the safety of the ordinary Kenyans if he cannot guarantee the security of his appointing authority? The man who has appointed him to the job is not safe. What happens to the rest of Kenyans? In May 2025, William Ruto narrowly escaped a shoe aimed at his head, which he blocked with his hand in Migori. In Soweto, Kibra, on 28th April 2026, a flying bottle of water was hurled at the president by a surging crowd. 6th February 2026, another young man ran to him in Mombasa. His whole security, the inner cordon, the outer cordon, the whole security architecture around the president yesterday was caught flat-footed. The same happened again in Wajir. And people are asking, if the president of Kenya is not safe, who is safe? I'm wondering, where was the AD camp? Because I've had the benefit of undergoing paramilitary training in my earlier years, and my understanding of the security architecture around the president is that the ADC is the last man on the defense line. That if everything else failed and somebody came with a knife, the ADC would go between the president and the knife, or between the president and the bullet. Where is our ADC? He is deployed to be with the president and escort him wherever he goes, including the toilet. What has been happening? That strangers come and accost the president, and everybody is running helter-skelter. The ADC is not there, there is no security. What if that man who came yesterday had a knife? If he could hold his neck and almost twist it, he would have knifed him. What if he was a suicide bomber? This is a very sad state of affairs, and we want to tell William Ruto, you must be very careless, and you have been very careless with the management of the affairs of this country. But you cannot be careless about the management and the stability of the Kenyan nation. You cannot take your security recklessly and in a careless manner. Because if anything happened to you, there will be chaos in this country. There will be instability in this country. In other jurisdictions, by now, the CS Interior would have resigned, the IG would have resigned, everybody would have resigned. But what has happened? Some changes have been done. Let me give Kenyans a snippet of what is happening around the president. I've wanted to avoid this topic because I didn't want really possible enemies of the president to know how exposed he is. But the matter now is in public, it has come to public, like everybody knows, that their president is totally exposed. He has no security around him, he's surrounded by jokers. I'm told most of those people who were guarding him yesterday were busy on WhatsApp and TikTok. They were only realizing the president has been accosted half a minute after the possible assailant had already accosted the president. What is happening is that the presidential escort unit is a demoralized lot. It is demoralized because one, Kipchumba Murkomen, Eliud Langat, and an immediate escort commander, Mayo, have ethnicized that unit. Nearly all officers are from one community where the president comes from. All other officers from other communities are very demoralized, and they are never given an opportunity to escort the president around. Escorting the president around comes with privileges and allowances. All officers from other communities don't leave the camp. It's only officers from the president's community that guard him. And these officers from the president's community have a sense of entitlement. They don't have to be professional. They are only guarding him and escorting him because they come from his community. That is why there is laxity and sheer recklessness around the president. Again, there is a lot of corruption in that unit. Officers have called me this morning. Most of them were guarding me. We know each other. Because the deputy president and the president are guarded by the same unit under the presidential escort commander. When they travel their allowances, the DIG, Mukomen, and the immediate escort commander demand half the allowances of these officers for them to be allocated to escort the president. So they are very demoralized and very unhappy people. Even after half of the allowances have been taken, for 4 months they have not received the allowances. So they are very demoralized lot. And they are saying they cannot understand why they are not being paid. Yet every day they are allocated the duty to guard millions of shillings being brought to State House to bribe voters. They are the ones who supervise money being offloaded from trucks in sacks to State House. They guard millions of shillings every day. They see the president bribing people with millions every day, yet they have no money in their pocket. They have not been paid their allowances. That is why they are not bothered with the security of the president. They really don't care. They have not been paid their allowances, yet they are the ones escorting money to be given to people who are coming to State House. They see members of parliament coming every Friday. They live with the brown envelopes, yet themselves they have nothing. That is the problem that we face. Again, I must tell William Ruto, please allow professionals to serve you. Why are you insisting that only your tribesmen should guard you? With the changes that were made yesterday, shamelessly, they were all from one community where the president comes from. But your tribesmen have let you down. You are so exposed. If you thought they are very loyal and they are the ones you can trust with your security, see what is happening today. They cannot be professional because they have a sense of entitlement. They have only been given duties to guard you because they come from your community. I want to tell William Ruto to think and think again. If he must have a Kalenjin as a CS Interior, we have very many Kalenjin people who have served this country with the dedication. Very mature. We have the former IG Boynet. He can be a good CS Interior. We have Boynet, who was a Director of National Intelligence. He can be CS Interior. Even Davis Chilchil, you can locate him from transport and bring him to Interior. He's very mature. But you can't have a minister who is childish in charge of the security of the country. And it is now very clear to the whole country that there is a problem. If the men who have sold to the Constitution to defend Kenyans from harm is himself exposed as in danger, what happens to the rest of the country? What happens to the rest of the country? William Ruto, you must know, although you are president, your security is a concern to the people of Kenya. Because it's important that you are properly guarded, you are safe and secure for the country to be politically stable. We don't want instability ahead of the elections. You must do the right thing. You must fire Mukomen and get somebody who is level-headed, somebody who knows what he's doing. You can pick somebody from your community if you only trust your community. But you can't have such a reckless and childish person to be in charge of the security of this country. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, you know that since Mukomen became the CS Interior, this country now is run by goons. You cannot tell the difference between goons and police officers. Goons have taken over the country. They ride in police vehicles. They are even supplied with tear gas. Goons and police have attacked churches. You remember we were attacked in ACK Wetima Church in Odhaya by police officers and goons. This is a CS Since the history of independence, we have never seen such a CS. And William Ruto, you are staring at disaster. And this country cannot have Murkomen as CS Interior as we go towards elections. You have already seen what is happening in the Mount Kenya region. CS Interior, Murkomen, working with members of parliament, have sponsored thugs and goons to destroy people's property anytime there is some civil unrest. It is Murkomen who is doing it, so that he can convince William Ruto that Kenyans have no problem with him. It is the Kikuyu nation that have a problem with William Ruto. And the Kikuyus are fighting themselves and destroying their property. Instead of thinking how he can guard the president, instead of thinking how he can guard our borders. As we speak in Mandera, the town has been taken over by foreign forces from Jubaland. Instead of Murkomen working on that, he is sponsoring goons in the Mount Kenya region to cause havoc, to create an impression that there is a crisis in the Mount Kenya region. So I want to say, much as I don't like William Ruto, much as I have a big problem with the way he has been managed this country, I want William Ruto safe, because it's important for the stability of this country. I want to have a chance to defeat William Ruto next year in an election. I want him to be safe. I also want the dignity of the office of the president to be restored. How do you explain to our children, how do you explain to foreigners that a known character can walk to where the president is and hold his neck and almost twist it? And is a man who is guarded by over 800 police officers at any one time. This is sheer recklessness of unknown magnitude, and I think it's dangerous for the country. William Ruto, you may not care about your safety, but you must, because you took oath of office, care for this country and the stability of this country. And you cannot let Murkomen stay another day in office. It is not right. It should not happen. We are the laughing stock of all countries across the world. It is not right. Take Murkomen back to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. There he can do party after party. He can party with the young people. He can wear shoes worth $1 million shillings. He can wear watches worth $500,000 and all those other childish and juvenile behavior that cannot be associated with the Minister for Interior. That is a serious docket. It's a very serious docket that calls for a very serious and somber person. I asked the President to order that officers of the Presidential Escort Unit be paid their dues immediately so that we can restore their morale, to protect him and ensure that national security is taken care of and the stability of this country is in place. I ask him to consider allowing officers from other communities to also guard him, who are professional, not just to depend on his tribesmen, because so far they have let him down. I ask the people of Kenya to pray for this country. As from what I can see, we could have serious breakdown of law and order if the president is not protected and even harm came his way out of recklessness and irresponsibility of the CS Interior.